Hey, 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 beautiful souls. Welcome to Thirsty Thursday, the Daily Divine. My name's lisalyle, and I am here to support your soul to shine, shine, shine. So, I think I will wait until someone lets me know if the stream is clear, if there's anyone here. Otherwise, it's going to be like an intuitive energy update. There's a lot of energy about. I'm thirsty. Okay. So, for those who don't know, my name is lisalyle. This is my channel here on YouTube. And I would like to thank all of you who continue to come back and share this space with me. And I would like to welcome all of you who are new here and just stumbling upon this space. I trust that we have made the connection for great purpose for both of us to expand into the greatest and highest expression of our soul that we can as a human in this lifetime. So if you resonate with anything here, please do feel free to hit that subscribe button. It really supports our ability to thrive and grow together. And if you resonate with what you're hearing here, hit that thumbs up and drop a comment down below, introduce yourself. And thank you so much for showing up. At this time, I'd like to ask that I'm a clear and pure channel to bring through messages from Source Divine, loving and kind, here to support our greatest and highest manifestation in this lifetime via the pathway of our very own calm central nervous system, thereby having the experience of heaven on earth. So since it looks like I'm hanging out here on my own today, I'll have a sip of tea. I'll have a sip of tea, and then we're going to just tap into some of the energies. It's been really interesting. So it's May 29th. It's May 29th, and we are in Gemini season. And we've had our Gemini new moon. And we are in, thank you, whoever that is. Is it clear? We are in the thick of it. Personally, I want to talk about we're really here, as much as we're living within a collective and we're living within a society, and there's all the little boxes and compartments we have in our life. These connections are meant to support you in your spiritual development. And I mean, even as I sit here sharing and speaking, I'm going through it with you. And, I've been at this for a very long time, this spiritual awakening, this, healing, 30 years, the better part of 30 years of my life consciously. And so I feel like as I sit, it's really important for you to know this is about supporting you and your soul's growth. And, right now this week, it feels like we're really in the thick of it in our physical bodies. I find myself having a challenging time this week catching my breath. I also have been feeling a lot of tension, let's say. And I mean, there's a myriad of reasons. This is about the energetics and what we're being called to clear. And the fact that it's focused here on the chest, the heart space, the lungs, and in particular, the back of the heart space, it really feels like, it's important for you to continue to be gentle with yourself. This card flipped. Okay. This came up recently, and I'm not sure if it was a pre-recorded or one of the lives here. And this is hilarious because, as I'm saying, we have to be gentle with ourselves as we move through this. And it is like an exorcist of sorts. And that was a frightening movie. Did anyone see that movie? Linda Blair. That movie freaked me right out. And, it's difficult as we release the density of the past, right? The back part of our body, of what happened back there, what didn't happen back there, what could have happened back there, all of that kind of stuff. Just breathe into it and let it go. I mean, growth, this is the growth of your soul in the temporary human experience. And the temporary human experience to this point, and even at this point, has been continually wrought with trauma and tension, living on the edge. You're all singing that song, right? Yes. Who's living on the edge? The child that has been wounded. I should show you the card that came out with the exorcist was the damsel. So let's read what it says here. Okay. And we're focused here on the light, the positive attributes. Hey, sis, how's it going? Am I clear? Is the stream clear? We're going to focus here as we share on the light attributes, because this is our greatest and highest expression in the now, in this lifetime. And this lifetime is always in the now. Phones, eh? Technology. Remember when the phone was attached to the wall? Or the one, the one that we used to pull around on a string with the eyes? That was our first iPhone. Anyways, we're going to focus on the light here. And yet I want you, as you connect with this message, to be aware of the shadow, because it's in the depths of the shadow. It's in it's the gray area, if you will. Not everything's black and white. And so we're here to free ourselves and others from destructive impulses. And yet what prevents us from doing that, from living the highest expression of the light here? Well, what prevents us is the fear of facing our own demons, our own shadow, the stuff that happened back here. Yet none of you are afraid of that, because you have faced it. For the most part, you have faced it. And what is happening now is the releasing of the energetic that has been attached to you for a very long time, has been attached to all of us for a very long time. And at this time, there is a depth of emotion coming up from within each of us. And the second card that came with the exorcist was this: understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. Yes, it's all about self-love. And when we place our worth and our value, our happiness, our joy, anything, our ability to express ourselves in the hands of another, we are giving our power away. So what does it say the shadow attributes? Waiting for a night to provide for you, seduction by romantic illusions. And don't we see this everywhere, right? We're not the damsels in distress. We are the ones here that know stress guides us to deeper rest. Stress guides us to deeper surety in our own worthiness. We don't need someone to provide for us. Perhaps we get caught up, especially if you're single. It's, being single is great. I don't mind being single. I enjoy my independence. And yet I miss companionship. I miss the friendship that I shared with Frank. and the mutual respect and understanding, and the ability for each of us. It was 10:01 there. We are the reset. It's a new beginning now. I really appreciate each of our ability in that connection. It was 10:10 there. Abundance. The Wheel of Fortune has turned. We're clearing the karma, folks. And that's what's here, is what we're feeling around the heart. And let me know if you're feeling that. Perhaps I'm the only one feeling this. And that's okay too. Let me know though, like, are you feeling this sort of hard to breathe, tension in the back behind the heart space? It's all like in your face. And so one of the beautiful aspects of the connection Frank and I shared was our ability to listen and hear one another, and then share with one another from a heart space. And a lot of from both ways. From him, though, I'm particularly grateful for the things he said, and the things I needed to hear that no one else, I wasn't able to hear from anyone else, or perhaps no one else was brave enough to say the things that he said. And, I'll be forever grateful for that love, that friendship. And so many of us who are single at this point are just, I feel, by our work and by this next level, this next phase of our spiritual evolutionary process in temporary human form, we're doing great. And all those the desires for mutual, like, healthy relationships, not these waiting for someone to come and provide for us, and this seduction by romantic illusion, or is it seduction by the sexual delusion, the space that holds the wounds of the child who lives within? We're safe, we're guided, protected. 1221, we are supported in the physical by those who love us in the spiritual realms, in the unseen realms. Awakens compassion. This is us, right? Awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children. Opens the learning path of forgiveness. Yes. And what holds us back from this? Blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, resists moving on through forgiveness. And I can definitely relate to that. I remember in my mid-20s, I was probably about 25 at that point in time. I was turning 25, 24, going to 25. And, life was just like, it was, married, divorced, in another relationship. And it was just not good. Alcoholic, like fall down drunk, not a good situation. And then when I began on the journey of straightening up, sobering up was the first step, and admitting that I had a problem. So, I went to a 12-step program. And in those early days in that program, I blamed everything. I blamed my childhood, when my parents were together, after my parents got divorced, blah, 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 blah. And I was particularly delusional about the energetic of the masculine, and felt quite protective of that energy. And that flowed from the space of the wounded child, the trauma, the pain. And, I remember like saying, oh, it's because of this or because of that, or because my parents also, led me to this 12-step program. You know, I was always like, oh, it's because of this, because of that. And eventually, and through the help of other people and through my own willingness to heal and to grow up, because when I sobered up, I was like, had the emotional development of a 14-year-old, perhaps even younger. But 14 is when I began to, drink and stuff. 1984. So, I did a lot of growing up by taking responsibility for clearing my side of the street. And it's still the same today, and we don't, I don't blame things today on dysfunctional relationships of back there. It's the dysfunction perhaps that I bring to the table. You know what I mean? We have to take responsibility for what we're bringing to the table. And yes, it's an absolute necessity that we address the wounds that we hold within, because those wounds prevent us from fully expressing and creating as divinity in this lifetime. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what I want to do. And that's what I hope you want to do too. And so then the final archetype card is the Midas and the miser. And what I see with this is the Midas touch. Like, we're either going to hold and continue to protect those wounds, or continue to engage in dysfunctional relationships, protecting the other person at the expense of us. No, we're not here for that. So we're not, like, we're either going to trust and have faith and believe that we've got the Midas touch. We are divinity. We are doing the work. We have shown up, and we are being guided to clear the density so that our physical can light up. So that our physical can light up. I've been walking around with a powerhouse of crystals in my pocket this week. Blue kyanite. What is that? It's turquoise, but it's my finger. I don't want you to look at my finger. The dog bite. It's a little infected. Organite, and shungite. So there does feel like there is, as we release and we become more and more sensitive and tender, and there is a real feeling of tenderness here. We might do a little bit of I was guided before coming live to really begin to do some breath work and movement of the arms. Our elbows up. Hey Canada, elbows up. Do like a little bit of the chicken dance here to get some movement in that thoracic spine, because that's where all the tightness is stored now, and it feels like it's come up. Well, it's the thoracic spine, and some of you may also be feeling quite rigid and tense in the hips. Again, begin where you are and listen to your body. I can only share what's going on over here for me, with the hope that, someone's resonating, I feel that way too. And then just encourage you to work with your own breath to create more movement and flexibility, in particular along your spine, so we can break free, because that's what we're doing, right? We're breaking free. We're rolling over, rolling. We're rolling on the wheel of fate, the wheel of destiny, right? The karma is being cleared. So we don't want to be miserly. And the more that we hold on because we feel like we lack. And a lot of times that feeling that we lack comes again from a place of the child that was wounded back there, that, whatever the child felt that they lacked, maybe it was love, time, attention, nourishment, resources, whatever. And so, but here we're adults. So there's nothing really that we lack. That's an old program. That's an old neurological pathway, if you will. And so when we do things like, movement, feeling the pain in our body, and then working to get our breath into those spaces, we can release, we can let go, we can open up. Yeah, we can open up a little bit more. So let's see what it says here. Today I'm drinking dandelion tea that I made from the root. I've been feeling, it does feel like this is a time for a cleanup. That's exactly it. It's a cleanup. We've done it feels like 2025, the first half of 2025. And we talked about that back in December and November. It was going to be a grind. We had a lot of work to do. We had a lot of baggage to release. And those of you who are here are doing it. So thank you so much from my heart to yours, because it ain't easy. And I know ain't isn't a word. I know that. So it says here, entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything into gold. The Midas touch. Delight is sharing life's riches. Absolutely. So the more we give, although we feel lack in some way, or, like say financial resources, we don't want to hoard them, because that is that energy of lack. We want to be abundant and share, so that our and it may just be something simple, like buying someone a coffee or whatever, giving someone a ride, sharing what we have, knowing that we have everything. And the more that we focus on what brings us truly joy, why we're here shining our light, to the world, being a bright beacon of, 2121. I wanted to see that. The world being a beacon of, yeah, we can have had tricky. And speaking of tricky, the other day I may have shared this earlier in the week, because it did happen quite a few days ago. I haven't shared the video yet, which is interesting. Speaking of tricky, though, like the trickster energy is right in front of our face. It's at play in broad daylight. And that was my experience when Rex and I encountered a coyote. And the coyote literally almost walked right over to us. If there was a fence between us and everything. But like, I swear, if that coyote would have come to the fence, I probably would have put my hand out. That may not have been good, considering I've got a wound on my finger from putting my hand in a dog's mouth. That may not have worked well for me. Although it probably couldn't have caused much harm. So, and what prevents us? So let's see what prevents us from being the entrepreneurial, having the Midas touch, living our creative dreams, going out in the world as a beacon of love and peace and hope and faith. Right? We are the seed. So it says hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. Where did we have the fear over here again? Fear of facing your own demons. Love is the opposite of fear. And, fear is going to present itself in our life. We're human. We're living in uncertain times. We're living in this time of a great holy shift on this planet. And we are, we're going through it. It's like, like plowing the fields. We're going through it, and we're tending to the soil, and we're the soil that's here to tend. We're the soil we're here to tend to and mend. And where was that card? This one really is touching, the imagery on the card. The divine feminine mother saying, trust your heart. She knows your heart. Holding space. I love the blanket around them. We're each here a square, perhaps, on the quilt of life. And that quilt is grounded and protected. It's honoring the truth within the child who has had the experience, and it's healing and restoring balance, or guiding the child back to the purity of the heart. Our heart, your heart, my heart. It's the only place we got to start. So I'm going to say at this point in time, 1, 2, or 3, what will it be to get you an affirmation as we close out here? But I'm going to pull us a crystal mandala card. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. Another old deck that I was guided to bring out today, the crystal mandala. I'm sure it's called that. And there's a lot of angelic energy with this deck here. So I just wanted to bring the angels and the crystal, the elemental world in to support us. What have we got? Support. As I'm saying, as I'm saying, support us. Crystal angels 444, 9, Archon, Barbello, and Picture Jasper. What I'm feeling with this, that's so interesting. And it flipped just like the first card, the Exorcist card. And what I'm feeling with this is that we're clearing archaic programs through us. And it's really perhaps the divine feminine is feeling it most in her experience, in her vessel, in her body, because she has been consciously healing and clearing for a very long time. And this is a number 9. We're in a universal 9 year. This is beautiful. And this is very grounded. And picture Jasper is, any Jasper is very divine feminine, very, very, I mean, all crystals are, Mother Earth. They're gifts from the mother, gifts from the earth. And we're supported. And I really feel like we're here to thwart the idea or the ideology that when we seek support from the natural world, I mean, some may argue that the card working with cards isn't natural. That's okay. I don't really want to get into that. I really feel it's important to speak about the crystal energies, though, like they're of the earth, just like the plant-based medicine. And they are here to support us. And this is about getting grounded. You see the heart in the center here? And I have a heart here on my desk that looks very similar to that. And so it's from within our heart. I'm going to put that in my sports bra right now. It's in my heart that, it's in our hearts, all of our hearts. I was hesitant to say mine. It's because it's about all of us, all of you here. It's in our hearts that we are really meant to grow and to sow beautiful seeds of abundance in love. And we have overcome so many fears. It's like all the stuff that we overcame in the dark on our own that nobody has any clue about. We all have that experience. I trust you do. Hit the thumbs up if this is resonating with you. And this is about getting grounded and clearing through our roots that so we can come back online, or so that we can align. And the alignment is the heart as the guide, and the heart guides the mind into action. It's about soul satisfaction. And 444, as I was saying, we're supported by all of this, and the angels. I mean, this is my number for the angels, right? And we got triple fours across the board, 12, reminding us that we are the channel of light, here to rise. 1212 on the 2828. Oh my gosh, it's everywhere. We are abundance's floodgate. So let your love flow. Let your heart show. Let the world see. And if you can't right now, if you can't let the world see, please know, like the angels and God and the Divine Mother is all right there with you now, supporting your growth. We can do this. And I know there's a lot that we do, each of us, behind the scenes in our own life. And like I said, I have so much respect for you, because it hasn't been easy. And sometimes we trip ourselves up. And sometimes the trickster shows up in our field again, and we may be tricked for a bit. But our honoring our truth is the treat, right? That sets our souls free. So I'm going to just read some of the comments, and then I'm going to do an interactive component, 1, 2, or 3, and that'll be an affirmation for you to work with as long as you feel guided to work with it. And then we'll be back here live tomorrow night at 11:11. No, not 11:11. Wow, 11:11. We are the gateway, right? I'm feeling like the eternal soulmate, the eternal beloved is in our presence, and they are shining love and light to us in our presence and our modern day experience, which hasn't been easy. We will be live Friday night at 8:11 p.m. We'll do a little bit of chit chat at the beginning, and then for all subscribers of the channel who are here during the live stream, I will pull cards. We're going to do some interactive readings and stuff like that. We're getting this channel to grow. So that's my way of saying thank you. And thanks so much for showing up and support. And perhaps it's a little incentive for some of you to hit that subscribe button and, show up here tomorrow night. What else are you going to do? It's always a lot of fun. So Kiva is all up in the live stream chat. Thank you, sister. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, the finger and tooth. Yeah. I hope your tooth is feeling better. I'm going to get a tooth fixed very soon. Yeah, the stretching. So it was 3113 there. The divine feminine, and here comes Tristan screaming at me. But inhaling, sending your elbows back, shoulders drop down, exhale, rounding out the back and releasing, and maybe imagine releasing tension right through your fingertips, right through the back of your body. Inhaling, opening up the chest, really welcoming the love and support that's here for us now, and feeling our own inner light, like feeling our own inner resources growing. Let's do it. Yeah, I feel that's exactly what I felt like with this card. And I don't know that I've ever seen this card in this deck before. I don't work with it a lot. I've been guided to bring all the tools I have out. Some of the tools I have to bring here to these. Oh no, sis. I feel your pain. I've been there. Not 4 at one time. Oh dear. Wow, I'm sending you so much positive vibes, healing light. Archangel Raphael is right there with you. Really, cloves in your mouth may help with pain as well. So there's that. Clove tea, and then just sucking on the cloves and having them in your mouth on wherever the pain spots are is useful. Yeah, when this card came out, it felt very much like we're being called to work with whatever we're called to work with, to clear these old programs, archaic, outdated. And we have to, as the collective, as we clear them out, then we begin to see these shifts in the external as well. Yeah, I can carry anything. Let me tell you a funny story. I used to teach a lot of fitness classes, and one class, and always, so sports bras are my thing, or no bra. Yeah. One time I was teaching this class, and we were just doing the warm up. And I had I had a bunch of crystals in my bra, maybe 3 that day. And we were doing some squats. I guess we weren't doing the warm up. We were doing some squats, and I'm at the front, and everyone's facing forward. We're all facing forward, and I go back and I do this squat. And then I come up, and this crystal comes falling out. It looked like I was having a poop in my class. This crystal dropped out. They're like, "Oh my gosh, Lisa, what's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's my obsidian." And it was good for a laugh. So, that's the thing too. Let's laugh more. It's funny. I took the dog for a walk today, and even around the workplace, when I got to the JOB yesterday, it was so freaking tense. And the guy who I share a desk with, he's an older gentleman. He's been with the company for like 25 years or whatever. And I've never seen him before. He was dropping F bombs. And I'm like, is everything okay? I said, was it a rough day? And he's like, yeah, it was. And two more F bombs. Like, I've never heard him speak like that. So there is a lot going on. And not everyone's as lucky as us and waking up to who we are and waking up to our own power. So, laughter is great medicine. Yeah. Always letting love flow, and the right people do recognize that energy. Yeah, I feel that too. Yeah. The presence of the beloved is like all up in my sauce these days. And, I'm so grateful. So grateful for Frank. And, I never imagined, like, I always was, his passing, his transition really allowed me to receive confirmation of what I have always felt and known deep inside of me, that this is just temporary. There's a much bigger energetic at play, and we are much more expansive than, you know, we have been led to believe. So, yeah. Yeah, laughter is great medicine. Oh, I met Frank in 2015. 2015. Then we got together. So I met Frank at the beginning of 2015. I was his personal trainer. Frank was a very large man. He was the biggest person I had ever seen at that point in my life. And the first day I met Frank, here I'm telling you now our story. The first day I met Frank was at his house. I had been someone that he worked with, knew me through like the community teaching and doing personal training and yoga and stuff. And so the company that Frank worked with really wanted Frank healthy. They wanted to support Frank to be healthy and have a long life and all of that. So this person that worked at the company reached out to me, asked if it was something that I would be, well, she asked if I knew anyone that would do it. And I said, oh, yeah, absolutely. I can do something like that. And pass my information on if it's something that he's, if he's open, then he can reach out. So I did receive a phone call from him probably like a week after the company reached out to me. And this is the first phone call. This is the first phone call. I answer the phone and I'm like, hello. And I hear on the other end this really sultry voice. And he says, this is I think I said, hello. And he said, is this Lisa? And I said, yeah. And he said, this is your 1:00 obscene phone call. And I said, oh my gosh, you're late. And I said, Frank? And he said, yes. So we agreed to meet. He agreed to meet with me. But he waited until after Super Bowl that year of 2025. He wanted it to be after the Super Bowl weekend. So I guess he could, go all out with the boys. And when I went to meet him at his house, I walked in. He had told me, like, just come in. And I walked in. He was sitting at the kitchen table. And I audibly gasped. I was like, because I don't think I had been really in the presence of a man of Frank's stature. And he was a large man, and he was also a large personality. So we had, a 3-hour intake meeting that day, and, so many synchronistic connections from, him showing me a video of his father almost basically hand feeding an eagle on his property. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then he was telling me about him and his friends who go to Sedona every year and do a bike ride, not Sedona, Arizona, every year and do a bike ride. And I was like, oh my gosh, like since I was a little girl, I used to watch the Weather Network and always wanted to live in Phoenix, Arizona. I loved the temperatures and stuff like that. Frank did take me to Arizona twice. And yeah, so we worked together all through 2015. And we had a great friendship, both of us. And, I was helping more than I was being compensated for. The company was, paying for my services as a personal trainer and lifestyle coach. So I used to help him, prepare meals for the week. And that was me. I would go on my own time and do that like on a Sunday afternoon. And then around the solstice of 2015, things had shifted. I felt a shift in his energy, and Frank lost 100 pounds in the first 11 months that we worked together. And yeah. I'll talk about Sedona another time. It was a little disappointing. The Grand Canyon was amazing, though. So, anyways, long story short, around the solstice of 2015, Frank, like, he was acting like a weirdo. And I had invited him over so many times to come and have a fire because I always had fires, like every night of the year. And he always said no, 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 no. And then this one day he came and he said yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what? And he said, yeah. And it was on the moon that he passed on, actually, the solstice of 2015. And, he was acting like a weirdo at the fire and stuff like that. And he couldn't get comfortable. My little dog loved him, sitting on him. And then when he left, he was acting like a weirdo. And, I was walking him to the gate or whatever. And we were standing there and he's like looking at me and he says my name. And I'm like, what? What's going on? And, he moved in and tried to put a kiss on me, and I pushed him away. And I'm like, oh my God, Frank, what are you doing? And we hugged it out and he left. And as he was walking away, he looked so sad and disheartened. He had his head down. And the next morning, of course, it was, personal training. And I got there and opened up the door, and he wasn't in his usual spot. He was sitting in the living room, and I just flew in and I went and I jumped and sat beside him. And I'm like, how are you today? And, that was just it. Like from that point on, he made his intentions like clear. He was cocky, confident, and then he made his intentions very clear about wanting to be a support system for me and my son. And, it just went from there. We started to, we started to do things, and my son and I started to join him on Sunday for dinners, Sunday evenings and stuff like that. Even at that time, that first day, that Christmas of 2015, he laid it out all on the table. He wanted my son and I to move in with him. And I was like, no, whoa, slow down, big fella. Hold your horses. We're not there. And I was very, my son is very, important. And so we began to introduce him. So Frank, he took us out for dinner for the first time for sushi. They acted ridiculous together. And then it just grew from there. And by June of 2016, my son and I and the little dog and the cat moved in to his home. And there we lived until he, until 2020. So we were there almost 2 years after he died. And he used to just say, like, he always said to me, like, Lisa, you show up every morning. He didn't know how important that was for me, the friendship I had with him as well, because he was ridiculous. And, I remember one day when he was first getting on an exercise machine, and he was listening to Hypnotize, Biggie Smalls. And I pulled the earbud out and I'm like, are you listening to Biggie Smalls? Like, absolutely ridiculous. And, we ended up playing that song at his celebration of life. Unedited. I mean, to some people's, it was Frank though. So it was so perfect. Yeah. So that's the story of Lisa and Frank. And it still continues. We do. Our love story still continues. And he supports me in different ways now from the spiritual realms that he never did. Like he totally dug me. He didn't get me all the time. And one of his favorite lines is, you know, woman, sometimes you sound like a Rhodes Scholar and other times you sound like you're a wingnut in outer space. And I'm like, perfect. That sounds perfect. And quite a compliment from a man who was incredibly intelligent. And I'm glad I was a safe space for him where he felt he didn't feel like I was there for anything besides him. And I don't think that was his experience in a lot of other areas of his life. So enough with the Lisa and Frank. We'll get on with this. 1, 2, or 3. What will it be, folks? Yeah. He sent me the best text one time, a description of myself. And that phone, I still have the phone. One day I may have to get it fixed because I'm sure that text is still on there. But it was the best description of me ever. It was like a earth loving, earth mother, hippy dippy, barefoot woman child, something like that. And it was like, yeah, you get me. Okay, so let's get to this. 1, 2, or 3. We got our crystal support. We're clearing our archaic patterns and conditionings within our experience. We received the 9. We're in the universal 9 year, right? We received lots of messages throughout this stream, the synchronistic numbers and stuff. We're moving on with it. So here is a little affirmation for you to work with in the coming days, weeks, or months as you're guided. And it's a little, what am I feeling? It's a kiss of love from the beloved. Okay. And from the mother, the beloved mother. So if you were guided to number 1, here is your affirmation. Oh, 2. They're saying leave those. So those they want 1 for each. So we're going to, oh no. Okay. If you were guided to number 1, here are your messages. And as I say, the mother, this has got the surrendering card, has got the Isis vibe all over it. The healing temples. You are the healing temple. Surrender to the inner knowing. Surrender to where your heart is guiding you. Surrender to the process of the release, which is not easy. Yet you are doing it. It's a 35, which comes to an 8. You are here in service to your eternal soul. Your heart knows. Trust it. This is like a heart awakening to divine truth through the honoring of the cycles and rhythms of life as they move through you. Trusting your intuition. This is like high priestess vibe I'm totally feeling. And then we have the embrace change. And here on the surrendering, it's in the moment, and the embracing change is going with the flow through the physical body, through the emotional waters. Again, trusting your intuition, telepathic communication. Not only that, communication with the etheric realms in the here and now. I know it's, for some, it's so weird, right? For me, it's all I want to share about because it's life. It's everything. And if we can just grasp that concept, we'd be so much, there would be so much more ease instantly if we could just grasp the concept that we are spiritual beings and we are supported by our loved ones in spirit, and there is a creator. I don't care what you want to call this creator, source, God, the God of many names. All I know is my source, my creator, is peaceful and loving and kind and would not consent or condone to the killing of humankind and for it to be justified in their name. That is an archaic program that we're clearing. So number one, here's your affirmations. I honor the truth in surrender as it opens me to gifts of divine grace. You're not late. It's not a race. You are the abundant floodgate, co-creative with the divine beyond the mind. Each and every time, beyond the mind. So there's like this clearing going out, right? The movement, get it moving. With every loss, I understand that something new is about to be birthed beyond what I can imagine. And yes, I would say, I would say to those of you who are feeling like perhaps in the loss, we may not see the growth, in a day, a week, a month, a year, 5 years. We may not see it. I can assure you, though, you're seeing it, looking at me. And if you've been here for the last dozen years that I've been on this platform, then you will have seen the growth, and you will have seen me at the lowest parts of, the grief and the shadow work that was being done, particularly after Frank died. And there was a time when I first began the Wisdom of the Heart space and the YouTube channel back in 2012, that it was a pretty dark time too. So, dark time, reprieve, harmony, supporting healing, all of this. Frank dies, more healing. I mean, that was supportive of healing. We don't know it at the time, but it takes time. And it takes time for us as the human called to show up for ourselves, called to show up and stop playing small, show up and address and heal what's going on so that we stop playing small and get to the divinity of it all, the joy of it all. It takes time. And we're not here on clocks and calendars that aren't even really lining up to the true rhythms and cycles. Everybody here, all of you, are right on time, right where you're meant to be in this moment. So from our perceived loss, there are great rewards if we stay the course of our heart. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, so number two, resonating, thumbs up, subscribe. Come back tomorrow night, 8/11 for Friday Night Live, where I will be pulling cards for all subscribers who are here at the time and doing little personal readings. And the thing with these little mini connections is anybody who's here at the time is going to resonate with something. You're going to connect with something because we're soul family. Otherwise, you still wouldn't be here watching this live stream 53 minutes into it. We are soul family. You found this channel, you found this little wingnut for a reason. Yeah, he was amazing. He was the best client I ever had. And in the early days, my family would be like, how's the client? Like after he laid it all on the table. How's the client? I'm like, he's good. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody who's here at any time, that's why these messages are timeless, because whenever you come across it, I truly wish more people understood that when you're guided to a message, even if it's 5 years old, like on Tuesday, I shared in the description box of Tuesday's live, the message from 2020, the completion of 2020. And I rarely do that. I'm rarely guided back to messages I bring that I have brought through. And so it was unusual that I kept getting guided back to that. And I saw it a few times before I actually listened to it. So it's like evidence, if you will, because we all like to have evidence and facts, factual gives us satisfaction. But does it really? It's truth. And so if you were guided to number 2, truth is that you are worthy and deserving. And this is hilarious because if we go back to the number 1 and embracing change, we've got the mirror, mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the greatest of them all? Who's the fairest of them all? This is about, again, like all these messages are streaming together, right? Through your physical body. And it was said earlier in this live stream that yeah, I know. He was known as the client for a while. And then my mom became Mum Bird to him. And he was, what did she said, there was a joke made at his celebration of life where my stepfather got up and shared about Frank and his integration into our family. And he said Frank was working towards number 1 son-in-law status. And my sister's been married for like 25 years now, 26 years. 26 years this year they've been married. So it was a joke. And it was funny. So anyways, but this is about like the mirror image, right? Like we're seeing, and for those of you who are here, this is about, yes, we witness what is taking place external and we observe, and then we become the witness for what we're actually feeling internal. And then we transform through that. Everybody loved Frank. Him and my brother-in-law had pet names for each other. Frank was Franklin and Jeff was Jefferson. They were such nerds. It was, losing. And there's a lot of people that after Frank died said, oh, you were in his life for but a moment. And that was very offensive because he's still very much a part of my life. And it doesn't matter if you're only been having a connection with someone for 4 years or something and then they die. It doesn't make your connection to that person less valuable than someone else's. It was just complete BS. Anyways. Oh, look at this. So remember earlier in the broadcast when it was said that our joy, our happiness, our worth is not dependent on another's opinion of us or another's opinion of us. And so look what you got. Number 2, you got true worth and savoring the positive, which is 37, which is 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune energy. It's been turned in your favor. And look at this. I love the imagery of the hawk sitting on the shoulder. And are they red-tailed hawks up there in the air? Because I did see a beautiful red-tailed hawk on the way to work yesterday, and it had lunch in its talons. What a sight to behold. It was beautiful. And I know, it was just, you don't often see a hawk with their food. Anyways, it was kind of cool. It was beautiful. And you've got the whole world in your hand. You're the magic. You're the genie in the lantern. You're the magician. You are the alchemist. You're the emperor and the emperor all rolled into one. And you're also the child with the wounds. And we don't want to harp on it and we don't want to blame all of our issues in the here and now on that. What we do want to do, though, is address what we hold back. We can't heal without acknowledging that a wound exists, right? So there's a lot of the generation older than me. So I'm mid 50s, and a lot of the generation older than me, it'd be like, oh, it's kind of like, just leave it back there. It's the past. It can't be changed. And, that's unfortunate, I feel, for a lot of those souls and perhaps their children as well, because yet, there is a sadness, and yet we are the ones that are shifting it. So it's the older generation is also a wounded generation. And, the fortunate few, I guess, address the wounds and do the healing before their time here on earth is through. And the beautiful thing about Frank, he was 53 when he passed. He was 53. And, that man left a legacy of love and good memories, and everybody felt valued in Frank's presence. Everyone felt like the most special person in his life, 100%. And he had a way like, he was a schmoozer. He thought he was Italian, and the Italian guys at the barber shop thought he was too. He wasn't, though. So he had a way with people, and to be in his presence was a gift. And so that is the legacy he leaves, and left. And this is the legacy that you are here to leave as well. It's not about what you bring financially to the table. It's about your heart. And it's the heart that you bring to the table. And it's the integrity that you bring to the table. And it's, that's the legacy we want to leave. And you are so worthy and deserving of all good things. And the message here is, my true worth is intrinsic and shines from my inner being like a sacred jewel of love and compassion. Yeah. And as we release the fear, remember, as we do this exorcist, we have to be compassionate with ourselves, because it's, we're coming up against the fear of the child that lives within. And the adult just doesn't, perhaps the adult it feels the fear because they're not sure where to begin. Talk to the angels, talk to God, talk to the child that lives within. I allow myself the spaciousness of savoring the delicious gifts in my life. I love these cards today. I allow myself the spaciousness of savoring the delicious gifts in my life. You're a delicious gift. Yeah. And that love and honor, people can say what they want. Humans can say what they want. I know my heart. God knows my heart. Frank knew my heart. And still to this day, that man is the greatest gift. And my son and I talk about him almost daily, because we're all up in the synchronicities of it all, right? Because he's all up in our space. He's always around us. He loves us so much. He loved us then. He loved being a hockey dad to Jacob. And, it's such a tremendous loss for us. So if you were guided to number 3, I guess we're going to get 2 cards for you as well. And then we're going to be back here tomorrow night, 8:11 p.m. And then one for all of us. Oh, okay. That's how I'm going to close it out. For number 3, fearless self-love. Yes. So if you're feeling that exorcist is taking place, just keep loving yourself, keep showing up, feel the fear and move through it anyways. Facing everything to receive the blessings that are meant for you in your power. Transformation through purification, water energy. You see the frogs up there in the hair? Whenever I choose to love myself, no matter the circumstances surrounding me, I am practicing fearlessness. And practicing fearlessness is the path to self-empowerment and enlightenment. High priestess vibe here, as well as judgment energy. We're moving out of that judgment energy, letting it all go so we can flow forward into our life, grounded, prosperous, abundant, highly creative. I am a woman. If you're a woman, if you're a man, this is called the Soulful Woman Oracle. So I am a woman choosing the power of my own consciousness as a vehicle for my growth. Yes, yes, yes. And then to wrap up this live stream today, I just want to thank you all so much for showing up, for continuing to show up and support me in the myriad of ways that you do. Your comments, your thumbs up, your subscriptions, your behind the scenes donations and readings and stuff I do with all of you. It's such an honor. Honestly, it's my joy, and I trust that you feel it when we connect. I trust that you feel the soul's essence and the essence of unconditional love that streams from this heart to your beautiful heart. I am so grateful for all of you. And gratitude perhaps is an attitude that will help us all flow forward abundantly, tapping in and tuning in, honoring the natural resource that is our heart. Appreciating the good that exists in the here and now expands my awareness to all that is good in the universe. Yes, it's true. So thank you so much for showing up. Kiva, thank you so much for being here in the live stream. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful for our connection and your engagement here. You really help lift me up. I am so honored. Until tomorrow night at 8:11, everyone. I see you. I feel you. I love you. Thank you. Have a great day. Get out there and play. Oh. Anyways, see you. Awesome, Kiva. I know. I feel it.